What's good, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and I just watched UFC Paris, and I thought it was a fairly good show. It wasn't like the best fight night card I've seen. It wasn't like too bad, but it was kind of in the middle, maybe a bit more towards the kind of bad side. But yeah, we start out the card. We have Ziam versus Mafarola, and Firas was a kickboxer in the past, and it showed. Like, he was able to control the distance on the feet. And yeah, in the first round, he got taken down by Mafarola. He was even put in a mounted guillotine, which I thought he was gonna get tapped out, but he survived. He stayed tough and he survived the round. Then in the second round, he was landing his jab a bit more. He was landing his combinations a bit more, and he started landing some really good body shots that were starting to slow down Farola. And then in the third round, he hurt Matt at one point. He nearly got him out there, but then they get into a clinch exchange, and Firas just lands a massive knee to Farola's face. He didn't have his hands up or anything, and that was clean right to the jaw. And it was bad. Like, it wasn't where he was so conscious. No, he was completely unconscious, and then he took some follow-up shots. It was bad. That was a very bad loss. But in the corner going into round 3, Ray Longo told his fighter, you gotta go out on your shield, and he really did do that. It was pretty brutal, and yeah, he got knocked out by Benoit St-Denis at the end of last year. He got KO'd again out cold. I think he's gonna need to take a year off, rest, and recover, but yeah, good for Firas. And I think he should fight Jalen Turner next. Jalen Turner is coming off a loss, and yeah, he usually has a size and reach advantage over his opponents, but in this fight, it's going to be a lot more even, so we'll see how good he really is. And yeah, that'd be a good way to get into the top 15. But moving on, we have Morgan Charriere versus Miranda, and the way this knockout happened was a bit similar to the Mafarola fight, because Morgan Charriere, he was in a clinch with his opponent, and as they're exiting the clinch, he threw a big shot while his opponent wasn't really expecting it. He had his hands down, and he got knocked out. Like, he got dropped. He was so conscious, but yeah, he was he was just completely caught off guard and didn't have his hands up. And a lot of MMA fighters, whenever they throw punches or they exit the clinch, they don't bring their hands back up to their face, because they don't do it in the gym. They don't practice it. So when they come into the fight, they're obviously not going to do it because they haven't been training themselves to do it, and they haven't been creating those patterns in the gym. And yeah, that's where he got knocked out. But then we had Brian Battle taking on Kevin Jousset, and I thought that, Kevin Jousset was going to win this fight. I thought he was gonna, outstrike Brian Battle, especially considering from what gym he trains at. He trains out of City Kickboxing with all those guys. Dan Hooker, Israel Adesanya, Kakai France. They all got great striking. But yeah, he got outworked in this fight by Brian Battle, and it seemed like his defense wasn't all there. He was getting hit way too easy, and he was letting Brian Battle get in his face way too easily. That's one of the things that those guys at City Kickboxing are really good at, controlling the range between them and their opponents, using a lot of feints to discourage your opponent from continually pressuring them. But he wasn't able to do this in this fight. And when you just get hit over and over, and you don't really have the best defense, he kept his right hand down, or his left hand down, the whole time. He was getting clipped by right hands over and over again, and he wasn't able to hurt Brian Battle. He wasn't really trying to take the fight to the ground, and yeah, there was nothing he could do. He was just getting beat up, and eventually the ref stopped it at the right time. I don't think this was an early stoppage. This was a proper stoppage. He would have gotten knocked out either way. I don't think this fight would have changed. And yeah, that was a good performance from Brian Battle and a pretty exciting fight. Then we have William Gomis versus Joanderson Brito, and this was a relatively competitive fight. It was pretty competitive and close. And yeah, this was a good win from William Gomis. Not the most exciting performance, but yeah, he did his job, and his opponent was pretty tough. This guy, Joanderson Brito, he has KO'd a guy like Andre Fili in the past. He did have that weird win over Josh Shore, I think it was earlier this year. So this was a pretty good step up in competition. And then after the fight, he called out Diego Lopez, which didn't really make that much sense to me. I think that he should be looking had a fight against a guy like Giga Chikadze. I think that'd be a pretty exciting matchup. A guy who's in the top 15, work your way up. Don't go for a guy who's one win away from a title shot, right? That doesn't make sense. So build your way up to that fight, and then eventually maybe someday you'll be able to fight him. But yeah, that was a solid win from William Gomis. Then we had the co-main event, which was Brendan Allen and Nassourdine Imavov. And in the first round, Brendan Allen actually got a takedown, and he was able to control Imavov for the whole time. And then in the second and third round, Imavov kind of woke up, and he was outstriking Allen, defending the takedowns, even getting some control time of his own. He even went for an armbar. I think it was at the end of the second round. He didn't get it, but yeah, it was a pretty good performance. It wasn't as dominant as I thought it would be. But yeah, I think next up for him, he should have called out Israel Adesanya or maybe Kyle Barallo to get the next guy in line, because he's not getting a title shot for a while. Because there is Sean Strickland in the mix that's getting the next title shot. Then after him, it's going to be the winner of Khamzat and Whitaker. So that leaves you up until like maybe the end of next year. So you definitely want to get one more fight in between that time. And it's unclear who the next guy in line is going to be. And then we have the main event, which was Renato Moicano versus Benoit St-Denis. And Moicano just brutalized him. I mean, he just brutalized him so bad. Like, he was beating him up with his elbows, with his punches. He got his eyes swollen, giving black eye and everything. He was caught. Like, he looked like a completely different person. I did not think this was going to happen. At least, definitely not this easy. I mean, Moicano was looking great out there. And also, this is super impressive because Benoit St-Denis actually looked like he was a better fighter than he was before. He actually looked like he improved. He was trying to start off slow, start off patient, use his body kicks, but Moicano caught it, and then he used that to get into a clinch and then take Benoit down. And Benoit tried to get up, use those butterfly hooks that he is really good with to get back to his feet. But he wasn't able to, because Moicano was able to wrap his hands around them, get a close grip, and just, nullify that and eventually pass a guard and transition into a mount where he could really do some damage. And after the first round, the damage was already done. The fight was pretty much over. In the second round, I think Moicano, he knew that the doctor was eventually going to step in, so he didn't really have to use too much energy, because he knew he had the fight won. He just needed to stay defensively responsible, and he did. He was defending the shots from Benoit really well, using that high guard, just moving away when he needed to, and controlling the striking exchanges. Even though Benoit did win it, it didn't really matter because, like I said, the damage was done. And great one for Moicano. I think that he shouldn't fight Paddy next. I think he should call out Beneil Dariush, Rafael Fiziev, or even Mateusz Gamrot, get a fight up in the rankings and really look to climb that ladder. Because the Paddy fight, yes, it might be like an entertaining build-up, but I'm not too interested in that fight. I'd rather see Moicano actually go on a run instead of just fighting a guy like Paddy. But yeah, this Paris card was good, but I definitely feel like Ciryl Gane should be fighting on all of these cards, because he's just an exciting fighter. He's got an exciting, just presence. Like, the show just feels more exciting. Even the crowd and everything. Like, we can't have the show ending with a guy who's not from here win like Moicano. We gotta have a hometown hero like Ciryl Gane, who's gonna get a big win again in a big heavyweight fight and get a TKO or KO, something like that. But yeah, overall it was good, but we definitely need Ciryl Gane back. He is coming back in December, and I hope that after that he gets one more fight in and then fights at UFC Paris, because I know he is the best striker in the heavyweight division, and I think that Ciryl Gane is the guy who is going to beat Tom Aspinall in the heavyweight division.